You want to be rich, but you can't even control your own thoughts. You dream of financial freedom while letting your mind run wild like a child in a toy store. One moment you're thinking about building a business, and the next you're scrolling through strangers' highlight reels, chasing dopamine hits like a junkie. And then you wonder why nothing changes. You call it procrastination. I call it proof. Proof that your mind isn't yours, that it's been hijacked by habits, by fear, by comfort. You want millions, but you can't even dominate the battlefield inside your skull. And until that changes, nothing outside of you ever will. Let me break it down even simpler. Your mind is the command center of your life. Every dollar you've made or missed, every opportunity you've grabbed or let slip away, every decision, every delay, it all started in your head. Not your bank account, not your circumstances, your mind. So ask yourself, if your thoughts were soldiers, would they march with precision or chaos? Would they build an empire or burn one down? Because right now, your thoughts are not aligned. They're not trained. And you can't expect wealth to show up when you haven't even shown up for your own discipline. Think about how easily you're distracted, how quickly you justify your weaknesses. You say you're tired, so you skip the plan. You say you're uninspired, so you delay execution. You let your emotions sit in the driver's seat while your goals suffocate in the back. That's not life. That's self-sabotage on autopilot. Millionaires don't build wealth by accident. They architect it. And that architecture begins in silence, in solitude, in battle. Not against the world, against the self. And until you're ready to fight that war, don't talk about success. Don't romanticize the grind if you're still negotiating with your excuses. And here's the brutal part. Your brain doesn't care about your goals. It cares about survival, comfort, predictability. That's why every time you try to level up, it pulls you back, makes you tired, makes you anxious, makes you second-guess everything. Not because you're weak, but because that's how an untrained mind behaves. It resists anything unfamiliar. And wealth, success, mastery, all of it lives in the unfamiliar. You will never dominate the external world if you can't first dominate your internal one. Now stop, breathe, and think. What have you allowed to control your thoughts today? Was it focus or fear? Purpose or panic? Were you the master of your mind, or just a passenger in it? Because this is where the shift begins. Not in some vision board fantasy, but in the moment you decide to stop letting your mind bully you. When you stop being a slave to impulse and start becoming a commander of intention. Here's a simple truth. The rich don't think positive all day. They think with direction, clarity, precision. They don't wait to feel good to act. They act until they feel unstoppable. That's the difference. And that difference starts with one thing: mental discipline. The ability to think on command, to focus on what matters, to reject distraction like poison, to delay gratification like a savage. And you can build that too. But only if you're willing to train, ruthlessly. And while you're here, listening, absorbing this message, prove it means something to you. Let the algorithm know you're not just another viewer. You're a builder, a leader, a mind in training. Smash that like button, not for me, for the future you. Subscribe and send a message to your current self. I'm done watching, I'm here to rewire. Now let me leave you with this before we continue. You're not poor because you don't have money. You're poor because your mind hasn't been forged in fire. It's been coddled, numbed, distracted. But that ends now. Because in the next phase of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to take back control, not just of your thoughts, but of your life. Stay sharp, stay locked in. We're just getting started. You've been lied to. Conditioned to believe that if you just think positive, the universe will magically deliver. But what no one told you is that your mind doesn't respond to dreams. It responds to commands. And right now, your commands are weak, vague, lazy. You wake up saying, "I hope today goes well," instead of declaring what will happen. You move through life like a leaf in the wind, reacting instead of directing. That's why your bank account looks the way it does. That's why your routines are built on hope instead of precision. You don't need another goal, you need mental armor. Let's get tactical. You need to reprogram your mind like a system. Every morning, start with war. Before you check your phone, before you eat, before you open a single app, declare war on your lower self. Today, I dominate. Today, I eliminate distraction. Today, I become the version of me that my future needs. You speak it, out loud, not for motivation, but for momentum. Because words carry weight, especially when they come from a place of intention, not insecurity. Then comes the audit. You write your thoughts, track your habits, catch the lie before it becomes a lifestyle. Because every thought you allow to pass unchecked becomes a potential belief, and beliefs unchecked become behavior. This is how you lose years, by letting mental weeds grow into chains. You say, I'll start tomorrow, and suddenly it's 5 years later. You whisper, it's just a phase, and suddenly you're stuck in a decade-long loop. That's not bad luck. That's poor command. Do you know what the rich really do differently? They don't have more ideas. They have less mental noise. They operate with clarity, laser focus. They decide once and execute daily. No debates, no drama. They build protocols for their mind and treat their energy like a currency. You're still spending yours on fear, doubt, and validation from people who aren't even building anything. It's time to stop bleeding power and start reclaiming it. And don't say you're trying. Trying is a backdoor for quitting. Say this instead, I'm training. Because when you train the mind, everything else follows. Training means there are reps, routines, rituals. It means discipline, not desire, is in control. So here's one rep. The next time your mind screams, I can't, respond with, prove it. When it says, I'm tired, reply, we move anyway. That's how you build resilience. Not by reading more books, not by waiting to feel inspired, but by training yourself to override weakness with will. And yes, it's going to suck. It's going to feel robotic, awkward, even fake. But mastery always starts with friction. Don't romanticize the process. Weaponize it. Use discomfort as data. When your mind resists, lean in. That's the point where change begins. Because repetition doesn't just create habits, it reprograms identity. You're not just building discipline. You're building a new version of you. A version that leads, that decides, that dominates. Now, before we move on, pause. Reflect. What part of this hit you hardest? Was it the lack of precision? The loose mental habits? The quiet war inside your own mind? Identify it. Write it down. Name the weakness. Because unnamed weaknesses stay alive. But the moment you confront it, you shrink its power. And if this message is cutting deep, good. That means you're waking up. Do something about it. Tap like, subscribe. Not for ego, but to anchor the shift. Let the platform see your intention. Let the algorithm become your ally, not your distraction. This isn't just content. This is your call to command. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. Your environment isn't neutral. It's either shaping you or eroding you. The tabs you leave open, the people you message, the voices you let speak into your day, they're not just background noise. They're carving your focus, fracturing your will, hijacking your identity one micro decision at a time. And you wonder why you can't stay consistent, why your discipline crumbles. It's because you've built your life like an open door policy for distraction. You think you're strong enough to resist chaos, but the reality is, you've normalized it. If you want to be rich, then control your inputs, ruthlessly. Audit what enters your mind the same way a millionaire audits every dollar. What you listen to, what you watch, what you allow into your consciousness. Every scroll, every video, every quick check is a withdrawal from your mental account. You keep overdrafting your potential and wondering why success won't stick. It's because your focus leaks, and leaks, when ignored, become floods. Floods that drown goals, wipe out momentum, and bury your vision beneath dopamine. Let me be brutal. Your problem isn't lack of opportunity. It's that your current habits couldn't even hold the opportunity if it arrived. If you got handed your dream business or life tomorrow, your current mental system would self-destruct under the pressure. Why? Because you're still wired for comfort, not conquest. You think you want wealth, but your habits prove otherwise. Your actions reflect anxiety, not ambition. Comfort, not control. So here's your next tactical shift. Implement a control protocol. Choose 3 inputs to eliminate for the next 7 days. Maybe it's social media. Maybe it's the group chat that only sends memes. Maybe it's background TV while you work. Cut it. Cold. No negotiation. Not because it's evil, but because it dilutes your power. And in this game, dilution equals death. If your attention isn't lethal, it's useless. Next, install triggers. Mental anchors that lock you back into control. A note on your mirror. A timer at your desk. A playlist that signals focus. Train your brain like a muscle. Because if you don't train it, the world will. And trust me, the world's program isn't written for your wealth. It's written for your submission. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. The people around you might resist this shift. They'll mock the silence, question the structure, push you to relax. And that's when you realize your environment wasn't just distracting. It was designed to keep you average. So you've got a choice. Conform or command. Blend or build. Numb yourself with approval. Or isolate yourself into greatness. And if that sounds dramatic, good. Change is dramatic. Growth is aggressive. You don't evolve quietly. You break patterns violently. So let's break one now, right here. You've been watching this video, consuming this message. But now it's time to activate. Pause this. Set a 15-minute block. Go into monk mode. Silence everything. Turn it off. Sit with your thoughts. Journal your inputs. List your leaks, then decide. What's one environment shift you'll make right now, not tomorrow, to protect your mind like your future depends on it? Because it does. And when you return, engage. Like this video. Subscribe. Comment. I choose control. Not for vanity, for velocity. Because when you align your actions with your next level, you build gravity. You attract better. You command more. And the algorithm? It'll follow your frequency, just like your future will. Let's talk about the part of you that's been quietly sabotaging everything. Your ability to finish, not start. Finish. You've begun 100 things, ideas, goals, habits. But somewhere between excitement and execution, you vanish. You ghost your own potential. And deep down, you know why. It's not laziness. It's fear. Fear that if you finish, if you give it your all and fail, then it's on you. So you stall. You tinker. You stay busy instead of being bold. Because if it's never done, it can never be judged. That's how you protect your ego, by betraying your destiny. This is the pattern that's keeping you broke. Not financially, mentally. You've trained your brain to associate consistency with pain. Because it demands sacrifice. It forces you to confront the reality that most of your life is built on potential, not proof. And that hurts. But it's also the doorway. The moment you start chasing closure instead of comfort, everything shifts. Because rich people, they don't dabble. They deliver. Over and over. Whether it feels good or not. Here's the practical shift. Build a completion contract. Pick one thing, just one, that you will finish in the next 72 hours. Not perfect, not viral, just done. A blog post, a workout plan, a job application, a pitch, anything. But it must be delivered. Because every time you finish, you send a signal to your brain. We follow through now. And that signal, it multiplies. It becomes identity. And identity is destiny. Now let's upgrade your environment to match. Remove any friction that stops you from finishing. Put your workspace in order. Remove extra apps. Silence every notification. This isn't productivity porn. This is warfare. Your lower self thrives in clutter. Your higher self demands clarity. Give it. Respect it. Create a temple for focus. Then worship execution like it's sacred. And as you do this, document it. Publicly. That's your accountability. Film the process. Share the journey. Don't wait for the end result to validate you. Show the world the grit. Because when you do, two things happen. First, you destroy the someday lie. Second, you attract people who are also moving, building, finishing. And suddenly, your environment isn't just a cage, it's a catapult. Now, before we continue, send a signal. You know the one. Like this video. Subscribe. Drop a comment that says, I finish what I start. Not for me, for the future you, the one watching from the shadows, waiting to see if this time, you actually follow through. Let's end the illusion that your life is out of your hands. Because it's not. It's just out of your focus. Every time your attention drifts, your future does too. You keep saying you want wealth, freedom, success, but you can't even hold your mind still for 5 minutes without reaching for distraction. That's not a flaw. That's a program. One that's been running your life from the background, unnoticed, unchallenged, and completely in control. And if you don't rewrite it, no strategy, no mentorship, no motivation is going to work. Because clarity without attention is useless. The world is a war zone for your attention. Notifications, noise, outrage, entertainment. It's all built to pull you away from yourself, and you've been complying, willingly. You've trained your brain to expect stimulation, not stillness. But stillness? That's where power is born. That's where vision is built. That's where millionaires think before they act. And you? You've been acting before you think and calling it ambition. But it's not. It's chaos. It's wasted energy disguised as effort. So here's the practice. Call it your mental weapon ritual. Every morning, before your phone, before the world, sit in silence for 10 minutes. Eyes closed. Spine straight. Focused breathing. And here's the twist. Don't empty your mind. Direct it. Visualize the exact person you're becoming. The actions, the voice, the presence. Inject every second with intensity. Make that future self realer than your excuses. That's how rewiring begins. Through repetition, through direction, through ownership. And while you build that internal empire, reinforce it externally. Set boundaries like a warrior. 1 hour of deep work. No interruptions. One task. No tabs. No toggling. You are training your mind to stay, to hold, to pierce through chaos and reclaim command. And every time you complete that hour, reward it. Not with dopamine, but with recognition. Write it down. Log the streak. Momentum is math. Stack the reps, and you'll never have to chase discipline again. It'll chase you. Now let's turn this personal. If this message cut through your noise, if it sparked something uncomfortable, it's because your higher self is waking up. Honor that. Like this video. Subscribe to this mission. And comment with the truth. My mind obeys me now. That's your declaration. Let it echo through the algorithm.